just possibly had one of the worst evenings of my old life. Oh, where do I even start? Okay. I went out and lock up the chickens just after, not quite dark. I didn't need a flashlight. And I checked the propane tanks, the two 20-gallon propane tanks, which that's the size that most people use for their grills. It's the size that you can exchange like at gas stations and Walmarts and stuff. And I checked those, and both of them were reading kind of low on the gauge, and so I kind of picked them up a little bit to feel the weight, and sure enough, one was pretty much empty and the other one didn't have a whole lot in it. So I was like, great, here it is, getting close to dark, and I've got to go to Walmart. They have one of the automated vending machines, and swap out a couple of tanks so that I can continue to have heat tonight. So I got to Walmart and I loaded, I decided I've got 5 tanks of that size total, and I decided to just leave the 2 that were in place there, and I took the 3 other empty ones and I got them in a cart, and I got them pushed through the snow to the vending machine, and it's out of service. So I push them back to my truck and unload them into the truck, and then go and actually park and go to the inside to the customer service desk and ask them if it's just the credit card part that I need to pay inside, and then somebody will come out with a key and will swap out my tanks, or is it just out of commission, and it's just out of commission. So the nearest gas station down the road, a couple of miles, a Casey's, and I verified that I went online and verified that, yeah, they have tanks, and yeah, they're still open. So I go there, and it seems like I almost never run out of propane when the place I can take my tanks to be refilled cheaper than I can exchange them, they're never open, like when I run out of propane. And tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day, and I don't know if they're going to be open. I mean, it's a federal holiday, but some businesses go ahead and are closed as well. I'm trying to hide my double chin. It's not working. Last time I got them filled, the smaller tanks, 20-gallon tanks, 20-pound tanks, were $10 each to fill up. But to exchange them, it's $19.99 for plus tax. So it comes out to be like $21 and change. And I had 3 of them. So instead of going to my propane place and paying $30 to get my tanks filled, I swapped them for they may not be new tanks, but they're, they don't fill my tanks. You give them your tanks and they give you new tanks that are filled. And it was $65 and change. Okay, whatever. Twice as much money. And I start coming home, and there's this on the paved road part, because it's mostly paved road, and then when you get to my road, you turn off the paved road and you're on a gravel and dirt road. And we got a lot more than the 1 to 3 inches of snow, and they haven't done anything about the gravel road, obviously, because they rarely ever do. But they did kind of do some half-ass plowing. I guess that they plowed Either that, it was all the vehicles on the road. You know, the paved road was a little bit clearer. My truck, even though it's a huge diesel truck and can tow up to 1 ton, it's actually either front wheel drive or two wheel drive. And my back end tends to go wee. I need to get the sand, I forget what they're called, sand tubes, around the wheel wells of the back end of it. And I have fishtailed. There's one curve up here on the gravel road that I always have trouble with going up and down. I fishtail a lot. But on the paved road, there's one spot where it's a very steep paved road. I mean, it's very steep. My truck sometimes has trouble going up that hill in the middle of summer. I mean, I can hear the whine of the engine. And I tried to get up that hill. And it's after dark. I mean, it was like 7-something o'clock. I tried to get up that hill like 3 or 4 times, and I wouldn't even get a third of the way up, and my wheels just were spinning. And I just, I wasn't going anywhere. Luckily, though, when I hit the brake, I actually stopped. I didn't just, slide back down the hill with my tires, not actually spinning. So I was able to back down the hill and take the corner in a controlled manner. And after the 3rd or 4th try, I was just like, I'm just going to have to call AAA and have them just freaking tow me home. I'm only like 2 miles as the crow flies from home, but it's uphill on curves the whole way, and I can't get up this first freaking hill. So I do that, and I call AAA. And while I was on the phone with them, at least 1 or 2 other vehicles tried to go up that hill, and they couldn't either, and they ended up coming, I guess they found a different way of doing it, or they just didn't go to wherever they were trying to go to. And they're like, okay, well, we'll call a tow truck. By this time, it was 8:18 p.m. And they said that the tow truck would be there by or before 9:18 p.m. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And like 10 minutes later, my IBS and the stress, it was very stressful driving on the snow, and it's very stressful for me to drive after dark because the headlights and the street lights, they are like starbursts in my eyes, and they blind me and they bother my eyes, and I just don't generally drive after dark. And the stress just hit me, and all of a sudden here I am with a house on this side and a house on this side. And I gotta shit like nobody's business. And so, and I don't know the people in these houses. And it was getting, kind of late enough. And these days, strangers aren't generally just gonna like open their door and let you come in and use their bathroom. You know what I mean? Had it been a blizzard, maybe, but it was, the snow had quit coming down for the most part. And even though it was like negative something degrees outside, it wasn't going to happen. So anyway, my purse is actually a diaper bag. It doesn't really look like a diaper bag. It looks more like a computer or work bag or something. And I carry a shirt and a pair of pants. I forgot to swap them over to winter stuff. And I carry a couple of puppy pads because I had them on hand. And I had my last adult diaper in it. I had a big Walmart bag, a roll of toilet paper, and a package of baby wipes. And so I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my truck, And I've got the engine running, my hazards blinking, because I gotta have the heat on because it's so freaking cold. And I get myself out of my jacket, and I had on a long sleeve like t-shirt and a flannel button down flannel shirt and a sweatshirt, and then I had on a pair of lightly lined leggings. They had fleece linings on the inside, and a pair of fleecy pajama bottoms over that. And then I had my brand new snow boots on that are faux fur lined on the inside, but they're they fit fine if I'm barefooted. They're a little snug if I've got thicker socks on. And it was today was the first time I'd worn them because I just got them. Hell, I haven't even finished paying for them. You better not be licking my bed. Oh, you're licking your leg? Okay. So I pulled down my pants and I put the puppy pad underneath me, and I got it there just in time. So then I carefully got myself out of my truck because doing it that way was a big mistake. There was nothing on the puppy pad. Oh, no. It was all over my pants, especially the outer pants. It was all over my sweatshirt and my flannel shirt. It was all over my seat cover. And it was all over me. Like the top butt area. Because this is a gross video. But when this happens, when I have no warning, it's diarrhea. You know, this is going to be extra gross, but think brownie batter. Unbaked brownie batter. Okay? That's generally the color and consistency. But let me tell you, the smell, it's not brownies. Definitely don't smell like brownies. And I was so pissed. So I got out of the truck, and luckily the house on the driver's side was far enough away that unless they were standing there with night vision binoculars, they could not see what I was doing. And I had to go again, so I just kind of squatted and pulled my pants forward and went again. And then I started trying to clean myself up. And then I decided I really needed to go move the truck to this other part where I could have a little more privacy and maybe kind of see what I was doing with the flashlight on my phone. Because when you open the door of my car, the overhead light doesn't come on. You can push the button and half of it will come on, but that's it. And there are no street lights in that area, which is kind of good and kind of bad. So I moved the vehicle, and I called AAA to tell them that I have moved the vehicle a little bit. And I'm still in that same area. I'm just in a different place. And I go ahead and go in detail. And they transfer me from the service center to dispatch, who then connects me to the tow truck company. I talked to tow truck people. They have no record of AAA contacting them with a tow for me. And it's been pretty girl, it was May. She's up on top of the bookcase. She scratched a flea, and her ankle or knee or something hit the wall, and it sounded like somebody was knocking on the camper. And it was, to my knowledge, it was just May. So don't start fussing down there. So anyway, I talked to the tow truck people, and they don't have a tow for me. They don't have a ticket for me. And so they're like, well, call AAA. And I'm like, well, I have money. Can you just go ahead and come out, and I'll pay for it, and then I'll submit it to AAA to be reimbursed? No. Call AAA. So I called AAA again. And they tell me, well, there's a tow truck on its way, but it's not, it's not from that company and blah, de blah, de blah. And they transfer me again to their dispatch. And this time the guy asked me what kind of truck I had, which I had already told the lady the first time and the second time and the third time. And he's like, oh, well, we've got to dispatch, if you've got a truck that big, we've got to dispatch a different tow truck. It's already been over an hour. It's like negative 13 degrees. I was finally as clean as I could get myself with what I had on hand. The inside of my truck reeked of shit. Myself and my hands, even though I cleaned them up as best I could with the baby wipes, they reeked of shit. I was freezing because to get out of my clothes, my pants, my underwear, I had to get out of my boots. I set a puppy pad down on the snow, and I was standing barefoot on a puppy pad in the snow while I was trying to clean myself off. So probably a good 15 plus minutes. I had nothing on but this long sleeve t-shirt material shirt that had shit on it. And my hat, which I still have on. No gloves. No pants. No shoes. No socks. In the snow. After dark. At negative 13, 14 something degrees. With the wind chill. So I got into the pants that I had. I had to go again. So I squatted and pulled the pants forward and went to the bathroom. And that time I also had to pee. Because in the wintertime, my bladder is about that big. That big. Teeny weeny, that big. So I'm always having to pee. 5 seconds after I pee, I have to pee. It's like I might as well be pregnant. It's as much as I have to pee all winter. Take a single sip of water, I gotta pee. And it's like I take a single sip of water, but I pee half a gallon. Whatever. Anyway, oh God. So I was on that phone and I was talking to the guy and he was telling me, and my hands were so cold and my knees were so cold, my feet just so cold. I was so cold. And I was embarrassed and disgusted. And defeated. And tired. And when he told me they were going to have to dispatch something else, and that it would probably be yet another freaking hour, by then I was all but sobbing, and I just told him to forget it, and I hung up on him. And I decided to try a different way to get home. I thought maybe that road that the library's on in Bella Vista, there's enough, it's all almost all residential. I mean, there's a couple of churches. There used to be a doctor's office, but it's empty. There's post office. There's a chapel. There's a bank. There's the library. But the rest of it's all neighborhoods. And so I thought, well, it's a Sunday. People going to church. People doing the grocery shopping, all that. Maybe the road will be more like the highway was, because I had to drive the highway to get to Walmart and get to Casey's. So I got onto that, and I was so tense. Oh my God, I was so tense. White knuckling the steering wheel, and just my neck and my shoulders, my biceps are just so tense. And I just kept, please God, it's still an uphill, windy, hilly road. Let it just be clear enough for me to get to the next space where I have to make a decision. And I made it. I made it. And I was on the phone with Mom. And I was like, okay, well, now I've got to decide if I'm going to take the shortcut, which is off-road, and it's got a steep hill that my truck sometimes has issues with, but usually if I shift it down into second or first gear, I can get up to the top of the hill. But I'd never driven on it with snow, so I wasn't sure. And it's a gravel and dirt road. You know, it's the road that I live on. It's just coming from it from a different direction, coming from it from the south rather than down. You know, coming north and going south. The way going home this way is going heading north from the south, if that makes sense. One is going in Missouri, staying in Missouri, but going further south in Missouri, while the other one is starting in Arkansas and going north into Missouri. Okay, and that whole hill, I was just fishtailing, but it was actually giving me better traction and getting up the hill. I just had to make sure I didn't, fishtail so hard that I left the road, because it would have been disastrous. I would have totaled my truck. And I'm still on the phone with Mom, and it's, I told her, I said, I may not, if you don't hear anything from me, it's probably a good thing, I need to concentrate, and I just let the truck fishtail, and we just kept going up and up and up, and then it was like, oh my God, I made it. And I got the truck back into drive, and got home, and the neighbor's dog, it's a husky that they just got, still young enough to be considered a puppy, keeps escaping, keeps either chewing or breaking the rope that they had her tied with. And she wants the chickens. I've got 3 chickens, 2 roosters and a hen. And earlier today, while it was snowing, they had left and gone somewhere, and they had left her outside. No shelter, no nothing. In, 0-degree temperature with -11 wind chill, and then it started snowing. And she chewed through her thingy. And the first thing she did was run over here. Well, my chickens, I had let them out because they free range, but they were hanging out in their coops because it was snowing. And she just reached in there and grabbed hold of a chicken. And all I found were feathers. No body, no blood. And none of the chickens were around. And the feathers that were there, it looked like it was from the hen. So, anyway, when I pulled in to my driveway, my headlights hit the one chicken coop, and I could see it looked like one of the roosters and the hen were in it. And when I had closed it up before I left, I didn't have a light with me, and all I could see was the rooster. And I couldn't find my other rooster, so I figured, okay, great. That dog killed a rooster and killed a hen. So I took my phone on flashlight mode over to the coop, and sure enough, the younger rooster and then the hen were both in there, and they both seemed to be alive. But the other rooster wasn't in his coop, so I don't know if he got or if he just is hiding somewhere else. So I was surprised, because I had told them that, unless they show up, I think that your dog killed 1 or 2 of the chickens, and Bobby's not going to have that, the landlord, because they were his chickens. But, and there's a lot of people around here that have chickens, and if that dog keeps getting loose and killing chickens, because now that it's got the taste, of the chickens, it's never going to stop. And so I was surprised. So anyway, all I grabbed out of my truck were my keys, my gloves, and my wallet. And I came inside, and because I wanted to get cleaned up, and I wanted to put on warmer clothes again before I farted around with the propane. And my pipes are frozen, so I got no running water. But I bought 10 1-gallon jugs of spring water, drinking water, from Walmart the other day. And I've got one of those in the bathroom to use for when I like brush my teeth, take my medicine, and I fill the sink with water and wash my hands that way. And so I grabbed a handful of washcloth rags and gave myself somewhat as much of a bath as I could with soapy washcloths. And I got into a new t-shirt and fresh underwear and warmer leggings. I've got my hat on still, because I still got to go do the propane tanks, but I wanted to, well, I hadn't fed the dogs. I hadn't fed the dogs or the cats yet. And I just needed to relax. I think this evening, it was after 10 when I got home. What are you doing, Pee-wee? Pee-wee. Quit! She's like rubbing her jaw and her fangs on the side of my bookcase. It's freaking obnoxious. Yeah, I think I have PTSD, and I feel it getting colder. I think the noise that I hear is the space heater running out there. I've got a space heater in here as well. Look, it's one of the ones that looks like a fireplace. But I'm feeling it getting a lot colder, so I guess I need to pile on some clothes and go out and I was gripping the steering wheel, and I really pissed off the arthritis in my wrist and my hands. Plus, they're still recovering from getting so cold. It's going to take me days to warm up. Especially my feet, my knees, my upper thighs, or not upper thighs, but the thighs just above my knees. In my hands. Once my knees and that little area above the knee gets cold, I'm cold for days. So it's now almost 11 o'clock. I haven't had anything to eat. I did feed the animals. But I guess I'm going to get into some more layers. And go get the two tanks that I need, and replace them and get the furnace going. And then I think I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to eat or if I'm just going to go to bed. I have a feeling if I just go to bed, I'm going to wake up at like 3 in the morning and be absolutely starving. But I hate eating and then turning around and going to bed. I'm already fat enough that I have a hard time reaching in different directions to clean myself when I shit myself. Welcome to my life. I would not wish 99% of my life on anybody. That 1% is the joy I get from my critters. But the stress and annoyance I get from my critters is part of that 99% as well. So, you know, it's like kids and husbands, significant others. You love them, but sometimes you really just hate them. Oh, God. Okay, well, it's definitely getting colder, so I think my propane tanks are all empty. Both empty. So it is time for me to get into warmer clothes and get that taken care of. So I will see about posting this to YouTube so that I can then turn around and post it to Facebook. There's no way to really post it to Instagram, unfortunately. I haven't figured out how to post links on Instagram. I don't think you can. But if I tried to post this right to Facebook, it wouldn't let me because it's too long. It's a freaking 31-minute video. But anyway, that was my day today. Sunday, January 14th, 2024. Let's hope the year goes up from here, right? Fun.